What up YouTube, it's Missouri, it's Company. In this video I want to talk about how this most recent patch was an absolute W for the Wizard. That's right, I have been maining the Wizard for a long time, since the beginning of the game, and I've also have switched to most, if not all, the different classes in Diablo Immortal. But this most recent update brought several different things that make the Wizard even stronger, and I'm going to showcase them why right now. Let's get straight to it. So the first part that I think is the biggest W for Wizards is going to be the new set pieces. So originally I don't want to say sleeping on it, but I was thinking that it wouldn't replace my current set. But truthfully, the more I looked at it, the more I realized that the Banquet of the Eyes, or BOE, is actually really good. Now, as a reminder, if you don't know, so the 2 set is damage dealt to enemies suffering from your continual damage effects increased by 15%. In most cases, in most builds that you're using for the Wizard, you're going to have at least one skill that applies a burn to the target, which is your damage over time, or damage suffering effect is whatever it's called here. So you're getting an increased damage buff by 15% there. Now, 4-piece is your critical hit chances increased by 2.5% up to 25% total for every continual damage effect you inflict upon nearby enemies. This one is kind of but it gets better, and I'll talk about it later when we get to the gems. So the next and last one here is actually really sick. It's a 6-piece, and it was made very clear, at least to me with this update, that Diablo, or Blizzard really, wanted the 6 pieces to be even stronger, so it actually would entice you to get all of one set instead of sort of piecing together all the different sets like we've been doing for all this time. So the 6-piece here is when you apply a continual damage effect to an enemy, you enter Poison Rage for 12 seconds, during which your damage will corrode enemies, dealing 31,960 damage per second for 3 seconds. Cannot enter Poison Rage more often than once every 40 seconds. So pretty decent uptime here for if it lasts 12 seconds, but cannot recur more than 40 seconds. Again, this is just free damage for having additional 6-piece, and it's going to have a higher chance of critting when you have the 4-piece, which you're obviously going to have in order to get this 6-piece. Now, the other things that I want to talk about, so the first one that was a massive W for the Wizard is the new set piece, the Banquet of the Eyes. The next one is going to be this new gem, the 2-star gem. I had completely ignored it until, I'm going to be fully transparent, until I saw other content creators talking about this gem. So the Pain Clasp gem, this is, like I said, this is the 2-star legendary gem. I currently have it rank 5. Let me go and lock it so I don't accidentally use it as fodder. But this one is actually really good for this new set, as well as just Wizards in general. So it increases resonance by X amount based off whatever level it is, increases combat rating, increases damage dealt by 13% to enemies suffering from a continuous damage effect. When an enemy is suffering from continuous damage is within 10 yards, your movement speed is increased by 3%, increased chance to find magic by blah blah blah, damage bonus increases 16% at rank 6. So it looks like it goes in increments of 3%. So obviously this is really good. Looks like you get upwards of, looks like it'd be 26, maybe they capped at 25% at max rank, but this is phenomenal. Again, you're applying a burn all the time, and this is going to be increasing the damage you do, just flat damage, all damage you do when someone is suffering from a continuous damage effect, which as a Wizard you can apply it literally on cooldown, so they can always have that on them. So, and you're gonna be like, well, okay, that's one effect is the burn, right? Well, yeah, but if you have Seeping Bile, you can see where I'm going with this, right? So this one is your attacks have a 4% chance to poison enemies, inflicting 35% base damage plus 263 damage every second for 6 seconds, and decreasing movement speed by 6%. This poison spreads to enemies if the victim dies. Cannot occur to the same target more often than once every 20 seconds. 4% is very low, but it's all your attacks have that percent chance, not just your auto attacks. So that is really good, and you will see this more often than not, even in PvP. And this is yet again another damage over time effect, which is going to trigger both the 4 and 6-piece bonuses that we get from our set gear, as well as the additional bonus damage from that gem that we just talked about if you have it equipped, which I do not right now. Now let's say you level it up to level 5. This poison also decreases enemy movement speed by 12%, which is really good. So all in all, and then there's actually, if you wanted to go more of a free-to-play route or free-to-play friendly route, because obviously Seeping Bile is a 5-star gem, this one is a 2-star gem, so it's much more easy to obtain. I've been farming legendary rifts, is how I've gotten a legendary to rank 5. But if you look at Everlasting Torment, so this is a 1-star gem. So your critical hits inflict agony, dealing 10% base damage plus, and this is at rank 1, plus 122 damage every second for 6 seconds. Each enemy cannot be affected by this more often than every 20 seconds. Damage is increased to 12% of base damage, locks at rank 2. So it goes up in increments of 2% for this one. Very, very good. In fact, I'm considering, even as a non-free-to-play, we'll say Dolphin or whatever, I'm considering using this Everlasting Torment 1-star gem in my build, because that is another damage over time that goes really, really well with that 4-piece, where I get an increased crit chance up to 25% when I have a continual damage effect. So all of this feeds so well into each other. Now, again, if you are a free-to-play player, or even someone like myself who considers, all the gems to be viable, you could also then use Berserker's Eye, which is, as you should hopefully know by now, gives you a flat 16% at rank 10 increased damage, and increase your critical hit chance by 2%, but also increase all damage you take by 5%. So you do more damage, you take more damage, but you also increase your critical hit chance. So all of this stacks together is a very high amount of percent total damage that you can apply directly to whether it be PvP, PvE, bosses, dungeons, raids, whatever it is. If you can use these gems for this build. And when it comes to the skills for the wizard, I mean, I'll show you what I'm currently using. Oh, this is actually my PvP build, so I mean, if you want to see it. Where are my skills at? So yeah, I am running, I don't know what I'm doing here. So currently Mask of Illusions for the teleport that makes you invisible. I run this one, Frost Reavers. So this is the crystal lasts a little bit longer and inflicts a greater damage over time. The shoulders for the Searing Judgment. Disintegrate now channels fire. Obviously applies the burning effect for additional damage over time. Boom, that's the one we want. And for the pants, Chaos Nexus for the additional 3 beams to nearby enemies. And which also deals continual damage. Love that. And then I actually run this one for the flat percent damage to the Disintegrate by 19%. And then last but not least, just for a little bit of defense, I do run the Hailstone, which is your ice armor now protects you for 6 charges of damage immunity that also chills nearby enemies when they attack you. Ice armor cooldown reduction by 7.2% because of the max essence mastery. So that is my PvP build that I use. So basically you burn people with this and or the crystals, which slows them down, applies the burn, and then with my legendary gems, if I had the other one equipped, then I could really do a decent amount of damage or continual damage to them. My favorite part is also when you're farming, you basically just dot, or damage over time. If you don't know what dot stands for, it stands for damage over time. You basically dot everything and run by. So it's very similar to sort of like the whirlwind barb build that people are doing now, like the burning trail, where you just run away and like the tornadoes just go up behind you and kill everything. Very, very similar. Basically, you just use your lightning nova and you run around like that, and use teleport to go a little bit faster to extend the distance of your lightning nova and have the burn one on, and it's super fun. So super, super easy. And so again, the set pieces, between the set pieces, the legendary gems, wizards got, I don't want to say a buff, but benefited greatly from this new patch. In addition to, if you wanted to go the auto attack build and you wanted to invest or work towards, in some cases, a 5-star legendary gem, the Gloomcast is okay. For wizards, it's better if you're using the auto attack build, but that doesn't necessarily pair well with this set piece because this is more using your skills and your auto attacks. But in case you forgot what Gloomcast does, it is your primary attack unleashes an aspect of gloom for 6 seconds, during which time your primary attacks will trigger gloom blades that deal 30% base damage plus 275 damage. Cannot occur more often than once every 20 seconds. So it is okay, but you do lose some of the effects of the other ones. I am doubling down, like I said, on Pain Clasp. I think this is a definite go-to for me. I usually run most flame builds right now instead of the auto attack build, which is arguably probably better at single target. I want to retest it when I get this fully built out with this gem to 10, and maybe even get an Everlasting Torment in there. We'll see. I don't know how. I mean, does this one imply burn? Using skill conjures 3 helpful blades around you, seeking out enemies within 6 yards, exploding on them. 2 all enemies struck Hellfire Blades take 12%. Cannot occur more. No, so that's not additional damage, which stinks. That would have made that the Hellfire one even more awesome. That one just does the shade. Is this considered a dot? When you defeat an enemy, a dark beast attacks nearby enemies, dealing 75% cannot occur more often. No, it's not. So yeah. Ultimately, I'm thinking about Bottled Hope is actually the one I'm considering getting rid of, because it also costs a lot to fully upgrade, and I already have a very nice Bloodsoaked Jade at 5-star. And then I also have a 4 out of 5 Seeping Bile. So those are going to be very, very difficult to upgrade. I do have my Zwinson's Haunting 3 out of 5, but at rank 5. This one's very cheap to upgrade. I do like the Echoing Shade because it does give you the additional auto attacks, which is nice as a wizard, especially because it gives you some additional AoE. So I'll probably sit on Bottle Hope and ditch that one for this new gem. But I could change my mind and do Echoing Shade because I think I'm going to lose more damage by getting rid of Bottled Hope. But to me, it's all about like the expensiveness in terms of platinum to get these other gems, because I'm not going to use platinum to get my last Bloodsoaked Jade. I can upgrade this to rank 5 once I get one more. I'm probably just going to keep saving these until the 2 Lyric Pearls until I can get it, because Bloodsoaked Jades are just so expensive, and I don't want to pay full price of platinum for it. So ultimately, that is my opinion on the new patch. When it comes to the wizard, I think that they basically got just a massive W in a lot of different ways. If you haven't tried wizard, I think there's a reason why a lot of content creators are switching to wizard, whether it be just good timing, but I really do think it's because of this patch. I know DM is on a wizard right now. I know Lita is also on a wizard right now, and both are pumping out really awesome videos about just generic Diablo Immortal content as well as builds. And I, even as a wizard main myself, am enjoying their content and love seeing more people play wizard. So if you haven't already, maybe class change for at least a week, try it out, get the build, and play with it. It's kind of really ridiculous how much damage you do with this dot damage. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this was better for a different class? Am I sleeping on a different class when it comes to this set? Or is it truly just best in slot for the wizard? Let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. And until next time, lock it in.